Sterilization and disinfection. This is a part of general microbiology topic, and it is a very important topic related to nowadays, not due to this pandemic, that is always its relevance, because sterilization and disinfection is a really important topic. First, we will look about the definitions. What is sterilization? It is complete killing of all form of microorganisms, including bacterial spores. Spores are the most resistant forms. That's why it's totally elimination of all existing microbes, living beings from that particular equipment is termed sterilization. Disinfection, it is killing or removing of harmful vegetative microorganisms. Here, mind you, it's no spores, but it's type of infection, not a broadly sterilization. Antiseptic, disinfectant that can be safely used on living tissues. Same thing, disinfection, but when we apply in the living surfaces, it's the antiseptic. What is bactericidal or bactericide? That is kill microbes, include germicide, spores, fungicide, virucide. Bacteriostatic in the other sense, it prevents or stops microbial growth, static. Also fungistatic, virustatic. Asepsis, so aseptic, prevent contamination of person or objects by microbes. Sanitize, removal of pathogens from the inanimate objects. Mechanical or chemical cleaning by means need not sterilize or disinfect. Contamination, presence of living microbes on the objects. Bit of history, that is this sterilization, its attempt is attached to Louis Pasteur. That is on 1862, developed pasteurization process, but it's not pure sterilization technique, but it's the attempt, initiation. Later on, Joseph Lister is a surgeon, always thought about this contamination, but on that moment, 1860-67, there is no such idea on microbes. But he thought how it goes, and he tried to put carbolic solution spray on the wounds of his patient. Later on, Charles Chamberlain developed the first pressure steam sterilization autoclave in 1876. Mind you, on that moment, science or world do not know about microbes. That's a fascinating thing. So you can appreciate it's untidy or other way used. But from here to, we have to move to prepare to use, so ready to use. Used for sterilization, go for again for another patient care. So bit of survival of pathogen on surfaces. MRSA, it 7 days to 7 months. VRE, vancomycin resistant enterococcus, 5 days to 4 months. Likewise, norovirus, 12 to 28 days. HIV, minutes to hours. COVID-19, we say different way, but we'll say about 48 hours. It depends on the surface. I said earlier about the order of resistance, so it goes from hardest to kill, hard to easiest. Prions, spores. Then it comes with bacteria, mycobacteria, non-enveloped viruses, fungi. Vegetative bacteria and enveloped viruses are the most easiest. So, you know the definitions, you know the way of contamination. So, based on this, our primary aim to sterilize or disinfect that particular equipment or instrument for use. For repeat use or higher to use for new disposable one. So there are methods. We can classify broadly this as physical methods and chemical methods. Physically, again, these are the common methods. Sunlight. It is not capable of sterilization, but kind of disinfection. Drying, dry heat, moist heat, filtration, radiation, ultrasonic, glass plasma. Likewise, physical methods are there. We'll discuss further. Chemical methods, alcohol, aldehyde, dyes, halogens, phenols, metallic salt, gases, likewise. Choice of method is depend on at device intended use, risk of infection, degree of soilage. Process must not damage the device as well. That's very much important. So this is the Spaulding classification. So it here minimum disinfection level requirement. So here we'll say low level. So usually term as non-critical, where we use in day-to-day practice sphygmo manometer. That device contain intact skin only. So we need low level disinfection for this non-critical classification device. Often most vegetative bacteria from skin flora, viruses destroy except bacterial spores. So we can use alcohol wipe. So once we go in the ladder, there are devices they are contacting mucous membrane, non-intact broken skin. So it termed as semi-critical because they are at a risk of acquiring, transferring microbes to body tissues. So it requires high-level disinfection. So it's all viable microorganisms must be destroyed except bacterial spores, because still it's not required. But when we go up further, device contacts sterile tissues. For example, if we go for cardiac vegetation or laparoscopy or laparotomy, or for any organism for surgical purpose, or any invasive device which go in contact in the blood, body tissues, vascular system or bloodstream. It's termed critical device classification. Non-critical, semi-critical to critical. So up the ladder, it required sterilization. All viable microbes, including spores, must be removed. So management of contaminated items. So it always has a rule, and as little as possible, staff must wear appropriate personal protective equipment. Gross debris removed at point of use. Soil items removed immediately after use. So first it should begin with or initiate with cleaning. So removal of the organic matter. Further cleaning. There are virusimes, likewise there are products apart from water, detergent, talking enzymatic or non-enzymatic detergent. There are. For that, enzymatic detergents are their products. Non-enzymatic detergents, Lysol, those things are there. Always, the handler must wear personal protective equipment because it may irritate, corrosive. At the same time, protection of the person. Also, person may be hypersensitive. So avoid those. Skin must be covered. Keep instrument submerged in solution and scrub with brush. Thoroughly rinse the instrument, allow instrument to dry. Then we go for, there are other methods, those manual, then automated cleaning instruments also available. Ultrasonic cleaner, instrument washers like that. It's available in laboratories nowadays. So activity of disinfectant depends on level of contamination, concentration, temperature, time, range of action. So high level of disinfectant. They are glutaraldehyde. It's a trade name. Orthoparaldehyde. Nowadays we use for cleaning endoscopies. Hydrogen peroxide. It's 7.51. Hydrogen peroxide with peracetic acid. Likewise, glutaraldehyde phenol. Likewise, they are liquid disinfectants, ethyl alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, 70 to 90%. Why we can't use 100%? It's a question. Chlorine in 100 particle per million. Phenol compound. Hydropo, likewise, they are. We'll move with sterilization. So physical methods, dry heat sterilization. We require hot air oven. For glassware, metallic items, powders and oil greases we can use. Time for hour usually 160 centigrade for 1 hour. Sorry, 2 hours for 160 and 180 1 hour. So plastic, rubber, paper, and clothes we can't use. It's a common sense. Advantages can be used for powders, anhydrous oils, is inexpensive, no corrosive effect on instruments. But disadvantage is high heat, temperature damage some items. Maybe sharps one leads to blunting. Penetration heat of heat also slow and uneven. So we can assure about the whole surface sterilization. So we go for autoclave. Here, bit of low temperature but high energy, latent heat. It contains latent heat. So it can penetrate. It's a moist heat we use.